the first of the assignments that we're doing the new way is assignment number 15. So it looks like this. It says assignment number 15 on the top, and then you need to put your name and period on the top. And this is the graphic organizer I would like you to use for your exponent rules. So if you would please, I would like you to put exponent rules in the middle, because these are all the rules of exponents. There is the multiply rule, there's the power to a power rule, there's the negative power rule, and there's the division rule. Alright, and then let's define each one of those rules. So I'm going to give an example, 3 to the second times 3 to the fifth, 3 to the second divided by 3 to the fifth, 3 to the second to the fifth, and 3 to the negative second. So each one of these I'm going to give you your example. So when you're multiplying two powers, you have to add the exponents. 2 plus 5 to make 7. All right, so that rule is to add the exponents. And I'm going to abbreviate that EXP. And then for the division rule, you're going to subtract the exponents. So that's 2 minus 5 is negative 3. So that rule was to subtract the exponents. And then there's the power to a power rule. Notice that this is 3 to the second to the fifth, and I have a power and a power that are touching each other. You might also want to call this you either distribute for this one, or you could say that you multiply. I prefer calling it the distributive rule. So I'm going to distribute the exponent on the outside to the one on the inside, so that's 3 to the 2 times 5, which is 3 to the 10th. So that's 2 times 5 here. And then the last thing, the negative rule, is not really a rule, it's just an observation that, for example, for this one, I noticed that the final exponent was negative, and the reason why was because there's more 3's on the denominator. So if the exponent is negative, it means that there's more 3's on the denominator. So that's 1 over 3 to the second. Okay, so some people call that the 1 over rule. But the people that try to memorize it really just aren't understanding. A negative exponent means division. In other words, it's a count of how many times you divide. In this case, you divided by 3 2 times. So if you divide by 3 2 times instead of multiplying, it's a negative exponent. All right, so those are your rules, and if you need to write those down, you can push pause, and I'm going to start your examples. The first 4 examples look like this. If you would please, you need to answer all of the questions. That is, as you watch this video, what you're responsible to do is to follow along with me and write these all down. And it's also possible for you to do these on your own if you just don't feel like listening to me or you'd like to do them on your own. So if you feel like you know all this stuff, then just push pause and finish it on your own. And you can use these on the final, and I think that's about it. So this rule, 6 to the negative 11 times 6 to the 6 was the multiply rule. I'm calling that rule 1. So by rule 1, negative 11 plus 6 is negative 5. So that's, the base is 6 to the negative 5th power. And then the next one, this was the distribute rule, and I can tell this one had a times, but this one doesn't have a times. It has distribute. So I'm going to use rule 3 for that. 6 times 8 is 48. So that's 6, the base, to the 48th power. And then the next one, a lot of people are trying to combine these two, but you can't. Just like you can't combine fish and hot dogs, you can't combine 4 with 5. So this is the distribute rule. So this is rule 3, distribute. And when I say distribute, what I mean is multiply the exponents on the inside by the exponents on the outside. Just like I used to multiply the coefficient on the outside by the coefficients on the inside, this time it's for the exponents, but I'm still distributing. So negative 5 distributed to 10, and also negative 5 to negative 9 by rule 3. And the two operations do put these out to the side so you don't get confused by them. 10 times negative 5 as well as negative 9 times negative 5. So that's negative 50 for the first exponents, and negative times a negative is a positive. 9 times 5 is 45 for the second exponent. So my final answer is 4 to the negative 50. 10 times 5 is 50. 5 to the positive 45, because 9 times 5 is 45. Next rule is rule 2. If I said this out loud, it would be 3 to the 9th divided by 3 to the 3rd. So I'm using rule 2, and rule 2 was, let's see, what do? We subtract the exponents here, so I'm subtracting the top minus the bottom. So it's going to be 9 minus 3. This, if you want to put a star on this, rule 2 is the hardest because you have to know how to subtract. It's easy to miss the negatives when you subtract. So that's 9 minus 3 is 6, so the answer is 3 to the 6. If you'd like to push pause here, then you may. I'm moving on. Another subtraction rule, negative 12 minus 11. This is another subtraction rule. 4 on top minus whatever's on bottom. And it just happens that what's on bottom is negative. 4 minus negative 7. I'm just writing out all the operations that I'm doing for the exponents here. This is, again, 8 minus 4 by rule 2. So top minus bottom, top minus bottom, top minus bottom. And now you need to know your subtraction. These are the same, so they add together to make 23 negatives. This is keep, change, change, because the two negatives are touching. And let me use a different color so that you can see that they did get changed even after I do it. So that makes 4 plus 7 now, which is 11. And of course, 8 minus 4 is 4. So these are 8 to the negative 23. 6, rewrite in the form 6 to the n. 6 to what power? Well, it's 6 to the 11th power. Rewrite in the form 7 to the n. That's 7 to the 4th power. And now let's start these. I'm multiplying here, so distribute negative 10 times 11, as well as negative 10 times negative 7. So this is negative 110, so I've got 4 to what power? 3 to what power? All right, so 4 to the n times 3 to the m. So what powers are they? This is negative 110, and negative 10 times negative 7 is positive 70. Next one, I'm going to subtract. This is rule 2, negative 6 minus 10. Those are the same, so they make negative 16. 3 to what power? 3 to the negative 16 power. And then I distribute 3 times 6 as well as negative 5 times 6. Again, that was multiply the exponent on the inside by the exponent on the outside. All right, so 3 times 6 and negative 5 times 6. So that's 3 to the 18th as well as 4 to the negative 30th. All right, and that's video number 1.